Is it that packed in there?
Blacktop. Daryl Johnson's house there.
Any chance I'll get a camera in there?
Get the top, yeah, send your.
Oh no, I don't have anything figured out. And I don't
Can I get in there to put a camera in there?
Whatever, you do whatever you
Can I squat in front of you guys?
No. Yes, absolutely.
Boys got to spend the money on that, and then I got to do some running. Just like I didn't have much, I didn't say much. Boys just went calm. We had to all talk about it. Yeah, we kept the head coach. Two other head coaches got fired.
I guess
It was a party on my side. Told me we only for a senior year. He was out actually to the school from 10 to 3 to 4. And he told me,
All right. Thank you guys all for coming. We really appreciate this. Basically, this special meeting was called to, one, address, you want to take a roll call first? I'll do that. Okay. Yeah, we'll do a couple of reminders real quick. Phones, please silence them. If you have to step out, please attempt to not trample anybody on your way out. We're probably over capacity, so hopefully the fire chief doesn't show up.
he's outside.
He's here. Oh, great. So we'll keep this as civil as possible. I know that when we talk about different things like this, tensions always run very high. So this meeting tonight is basically more informational for the general public. We wanted to call this to let you guys know what we were working on, kind of the process for how we got to this point. So we'll call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. on July 8th, 2026.
Roll call, Commissioner Morris. Here. Glenn. Hoffbauer.
Here.
O'Malley.
Here.
Randall.
Here. Discussion, action, and acceptance of Chief Land's resignation.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation letter of Chief Martin.
I'll second that. Roll call, Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
Glenn.
Yeah.
Hoffbauer.
Yes.
O'Malley.
Yes.
Yes. Well, like I said, one of the things that we'll just kind of wanted to give everybody kind of a idea of where we're at, why we're talking about this, and what's been kind of going on over the last year. This is not the initial thing I wrote. I was told to change it. So this is what, I will read this to you guys. Hopefully this covers a lot of questions and kind of gives you guys an idea where we're at. So over the last year, there have been many rumors surrounding the police department. While at times this council felt the best way to proceed for all involved was internally, considering the current discussion and circumstances, I now feel it is in the public interest to tell you guys how we've come to this point. I understand that you guys as the public want answers, and I understand the frustration when it comes to the city not being able to publicly disclose every detail. However, many of these issues include personnel matters, pending or potential investigations, and legal issues that cannot be discussed in open session because we have an obligation to protect the integrity of those processes and observe the rights of the individual employees. What I can say is that the city's been dealing with serious internal and operational issues for almost a year. Those issues have affected staffing, supervision, and department morale, and now command and supervision, as well as the city's ability to provide reliable law enforcement coverage. Last year, the city attempted to address concerns about the Nokomis Police Department through an internal review and outside investigation. The city also hired a new police chief with the goal of stabilizing the police department, restoring confidence, and determining whether the department could be repaired and move forward. Unfortunately, despite those efforts, the issues continued. New issues kept presenting themselves, and Chief Land ultimately resigned, advising the city that NPD cannot responsibly continue operating in its current condition and recommending that the city should seek outside law enforcement coverage, With Chief Land's resignation, the city does not have a suitable internal command officer available to assume the duties of police chief or acting chief of police. Therefore, tonight, there's an agenda item for hiring a new chief of police. Based on discussion with Chief Land earlier this year, I contacted Sheriff Holhauser of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office to discuss the possibility of law enforcement coverage options should the need arise. After it became clear that Chief Land would very likely be resigning, I again reached out to the sheriff about these issues. City Council has not made a final decision or permanent decision about what it intends to do. The agenda for tonight's special meeting reflects that. However, with Chief Land's resignation and the lack of a command and staffing structure necessary to operate the police department in the way that the residents and public safety require, this council decided that the best course of action was to ask the MCSO to provide coverage for Nokomis until the City Council can make decisions effective as soon as we make those decisions. The two main options that are available are to solicit applications for chief of police and exploring an agreement with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. Under the circumstances, we believe the city should do both so that the time is not lost pursuing the option that is ultimately selected while pursuing the other option. On the advice of our attorney, I cannot discuss specific employees, specific allegations, pending investigations, or other personnel matters in public. Those matters will be properly handled and addressed as necessary. This meeting tonight is about our responsibility to the residents of Nokomis in making sure that law enforcement services continue, that calls for service are answered, and that the City Council acts responsibly under difficult and unfortunate circumstances. We recognize that there will be questions and rumors and social media posts and disagreements, but we are here to make decisions that are in the best interest of the residents of Nokomis. We ask for patience as we work through these unprecedented times. While we wish to be more transparent with the community, we are firstly obligated to protecting the integrity of matters pending review and the rights of all involved. So, basically that's where we're at. We've been dealing with, for about a year now, we've been dealing with internal issues, and despite our best efforts, we have not been able to remedy those with our current staffing and what we have in place. So, the discussion here tonight, briefly, and at the next City Council meeting will be to determine the immediate needs of the city and how law enforcement staffing will be conducted, whether that be through the Nokomis Police Department or through the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. I do want to say, all five of us live here. We are as concerned about this as you guys are, and I will say that this is the last option that we have available to us, and it's not the one that we would have wished to have gotten to. Unfortunately, we feel obligated that to protect the integrity of the city and the citizens, that this is an option that we're exploring, and that's before Chris is in spirit gonna harass me about continuing on. I'll put that. So at this time, I'll let any of the other council members speak if they would like to. If not, we can discuss anything that you guys would like to as far as where we're at right now.
Well, we have to find a new chief. That's for sure. We're searching for a good sheriff. So, we'll make a motion to initiate search for a new chief.
Last call for a second. Motion does not carry. Do like a second. At this point, I will go over some quick ground rules. I do want this to be I want you guys to be able to express your concerns. I know that there are things that we will not be able to answer. I know that there are questions that we don't readily have the answers to. If you would like to speak, you would have 5 minutes. Please come forward to the middle of the room, state your name, and where, if you reside in the city. If you would be addressing the council, it does not necessarily mean that we would answer any questions if we're not able to, but we do want to hear your guys' concerns. I mean, this is the reason we called this meeting tonight was to hear from you guys a little bit, and to hopefully calm some of your guys' anxieties about how we're moving forward with this. So, if anybody wants to lead us off, feel free. Sure, yeah, right here. She got you first.
She got you.
Sorry.
I'm gonna just set a timer out here, just so you kind of know where you're at with everything, and then once your 5 minutes is up, you guys can please turn your seat.
You state your name.
Elizabeth Stewart. I'm from Nokomis. We cannot go without a police office. We can't. There's no possible way. They are always doing stuff. They're always on call. There's no way we cannot go without police. I get it. Everybody's tired of babysitting our police force. We need them. I'm just saying. That's all I need.
Thank you.
As far as the police force goes, I
Please state
agree.
your name.
Oh, sorry, Tara Mills, and I live in Nokomis. As far as the police department goes, we do need the police here. If it wouldn't have been for officers with my daughter's mental health, my daughter would not be here today. And I made a statement that I handed into the department about the officer that saved my daughter's life. That is the biggest thing. How long is Montgomery County Sheriff gonna take to get here when it's a matter of minutes before somebody dies? Does anybody have the answer to that one? How long the wait would be?
So I will say that the staffing model for the sheriff's office, depending on what the city chooses, would change depending on the length of terms that we would want to enter into an agreement with them for continued staffing of this area. So that is a discussion that is part of this whole thing, that if we were to dissolve our police department, that there would be a time where they would be posting deputies in this area more so than they could, at the expense of the city, so an increase on their part. Longer term, if that was the direction the city went, that would mean them hiring additional deputies to be able to provide continuous services like we have now to this area.
Once again, I do not think that we can go without a police force here. I do know that, as anybody can agree, we all have standards when we have our jobs. If we cross those lines, we get fired. So, even if it's drugs, alcohol, whatever, the person gets tested on the spot, not just left to go home or whatever the situation has been, because a lot of people on social media are saying different things. And I get that it's a closed investigation and we won't get answers until
Yes.
it's done. But, just like I said, anybody else that is in the workforce, anything like this would have happened, we all would have gotten our jobs.
Good.
So like I said, I do know that we need police. Otherwise, my daughter would not be standing here today. That's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Schneider?
Yeah, my name is Michael Schneider. I'm not here to rehash everything that happened with the officer involved incident, but I am here to talk about the lack of leadership that is exposed, and that all falls on you, Mayor. So I'm here calling for you to step down, because you have lost the trust in our community, and getting Mr. Rochard back on the force is just wiped the whole thing, but so I'm asking you to step down. Now you'll address my time.
With all due respect, Michael, I understand how things may look. This has been an ongoing issue. If you want to say that the police department hasn't had issues.
I didn't say, I had nothing.
Before Mayor
I didn't
Goldsmith's
say
term.
anything about the police department, did I? I said it all falls on the leadership of the mayor.
And the mayor is trying to clean it up just as this council is. We
How
are
long is it
trying to
gonna
be
take?
as
How long is it
transparent
gonna
with
take?
all of you
How
as
long is
we
it gonna
can.
take? How many people are you gonna?
Michael,
go through?
she
How
gave
many
you the
chiefs are
chance
you
to
gonna go
talk.
through?
Give her the chance to talk.
He had 5 minutes.
There are processes and procedures that go into place. for when we are able to disclose that information to you. And if you know me as a personal person, this is really hard for me to just sit here and not give you all the facts. But I can tell you right now that this leader is doing everything that he can with grace, following the procedures, and doing the best that he can for this community in the best interest of these citizens. But I thank you, but I needed to retort that for a second.
I agree with you. He's gonna have to figure out.
Thank you.
Yes. Mike?
Mike Spencer, I live in Nokomis. So if we get rid of the police, does that take our police officers from the school away?
So, right now, I'm working to try to keep that position in place. Now, again, there's as many possible ways to skin this cat as you can think of, and we're exploring every one of those. So, one of the things that I really, really would like to try to do is keep that SRO, especially, and he's done a phenomenal job.
Well,
He is-
that's what I'm saying,
the
because I
last-
think we all respect Officer Dan. Our
Yes,
kids love him.
absolutely.
And I think he offers security for the teachers, for the kids, and everyone knows this world's not great right now. So having that, someone there to protect those kids, I think puts us all a little bit more at ease.
Yes, 100%, and that is one of the things that we're obviously taking into consideration when we discuss all this stuff. Again, what a future model of this looks like can be very, very different. It could be completely with the county, it can be hybrid, it can be fully staffed police department back the way that it is now. What we're trying to get across to everybody in the public is that with the issues that we're facing right now internally, we cannot continue with the operations we're doing right now.
And that's why I get what you're saying. I think just as a parent,
Sure.
With school coming up in another month and a half, I
Yeah.
think we all feel comfortable knowing our kids are going there with someone that's not.
And one of the reasons why we're trying to do this so quickly is so that we can get that sorted out, so that before, we don't wanna be still doing this whenever school rolls around and we're trying to, scramble for that. So that's why we're kinda trying to do this as soon as we can. Thanks, Mike. Hi.
My
Can
name
you
is Sarah Castellanos.
Thank you.
This is my son Roland. He was standing behind the officer in line. And so while I have a lot to say, I don't know what to say, but I hope that you guys do the right thing. Because now I have to explain to this 4-year-old why police are good people, even though what he's seen was not good. And I've kept myself anonymous because I worried about things.
Sure.
But I'm speaking up for him so that he knows that people do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Anybody out in the hall? I want to make sure that everybody in the hall gets a chance if they want it. Okay. Last call? Oh, yes, Landon.
So a lot of people don't know me. I'm Officer Collins. I look around, I see familiar faces, but I don't remember names. So what a lot of people aren't aware of is, here, I'll go in the middle. So Nokomis not only responds to calls in Nokomis, we respond to calls in Witt, we go to Ullman. Who's the closest on this side of the county? Nokomis. So that's one of the big reasons why we need a PD over here. I mean, do we need, and I've said it for a while, do we need a full-time 24/7 PD? Not necessarily, but there is instances where, yeah, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to Ullman because the bar's getting robbed. County, they're all the way in Litchfield, Hillsborough, we're the closest ones. So medical emergencies over in Witt, there was an officer that responded to, I think he was 3 or 4, don't quote me on the age. He's not with us today, but that officer with us was the first one to respond to Witt. So that's what I've got. Also, I want to add, county comes in, I'm glad if they come over here contractually, do it, so be it. But you got to look at the reality of the situation. They're a deputy, all right? Middle of the night, 1 to 2 deputies on. Hot call happens in, say, Farmersville. That deputy is going to leave here. Who's going to be over here? Nobody. So that's what I got.
Thanks, Mike. Anybody else? Yes.
My name's Sammy Nelson, and I live in Nokomis at 102 North Oak. There's 2 counties in our town almost every night. Every night. There has been for almost a month and a half, plus our police department. our police department just comes up and they tell you they got 500 other things that they could be doing. So they've lost our trust. They want to prioritize how they feel and tell people what they think that they should be doing. I live in a 10 by 16 garden barn. I love my house. I love where I live. I don't anymore. Why? Because I got shit neighbors. But that doesn't mean nothing here, okay? But what does hurt my feelings is whenever I got a cop that comes to my house and tells me that maybe I should get a better home. Or maybe I need to go do something else than sit here and babysit my grandkids. That's none of y'all's personal, that's my personal business. That's how I live. You're hired to do a job, not have personal feelings about where you're going. And that's not what we want to hear. We don't care about your other 500 deals. We got something serious going on at our place, okay? We got something that we feel unsafe about at our house. Especially when we got people screaming up and down our roads, running old ladies off the road on scooters into ditches. There's 10 people down on my end of town that these cops can't get under control. But I get yelled at and threatened to go to jail because I'm out there trying to protect mine, and it's me. I live alone. So what else do you want us to do? And you're part of the problem.
Thank you.
And I'm the lowest of lowest in Nokomis, by the way. I don't have nothing.
Anybody else? Going once?
Is there any way to get somebody temporarily sheriff's to be deputized?
Your name, sir?
Brian.
Brian.
Definition of cop is citizen on patrol. Is there any, just a question, I wasn't gonna make a statement or anything like that. But
And just for our minutes and stuff, we just ask names.
Yeah.
Are you referring to citizens being deputized?
Yeah.
That would be, so the city has no power to deputize anybody. That would be up to the sheriff's office to be able to do that. There may be circumstances that people do. I've not heard of that for a long, long time, but that would be a question for the sheriff's office.
Well, under these circumstances, are you gonna ask them or?
Well, typically, I can, but I don't think that that's anything that they would normally take on. The training and everything that is required to be a law enforcement officer is quite strenuous and depth. So I don't think that that's, I don't know if that's a legal option anymore, but I can ask.
After all these things, and you said it was a year to get this all in control, and looks like, it wasn't really under control. I don't know many of the facts, but are you gonna change any of the hiring standards?
Yeah, so part of the process if we were to kind of restart this thing, if that's the route we decide to go with, would be yes. We would look at those policies and everything. Those would all be updated before we bring people back on to hopefully avoid this situation in the future. So I will say that we're dealing with situations that were created and put in place long before any of us were on this council. If you ask, I know there's a guy sitting in the back corner back there that could tell you probably that this town has not had a great reputation in law enforcement for a long, long time. And so regardless of what other councils have done in the past, how they've handled those situations, we feel very strongly that this needs to be addressed. It can no longer go on. I saw Paige. Come on down.
I'm Catherine Sloboda. I lived in Nokomis my whole life. Hi, everybody. I know just about everyone here, and I think everyone has their own story, and we have our own faults. I don't take anybody's side. What I want to say is take a step back. If we want our community to do better, then we each need to do better ourselves. Stop the judging. We've all lived a hell of a life. Can I say that?
Yeah.
So sorry.
Speak it, girl.
Feel free.
But guys, I look around, like, what are we doing? Like, let's pick the pieces up together. Let's stop taking what we hear from over here and making up our own story. Let's literally wait for all the facts and go from there. Quit bashing each other on Facebook. I don't care how you think. I don't care how you think. You don't care how I think. Let's look at it together and fix it together. I'm not a good talker. This is very hard for me. I'm surprised I'm not crying, because when I get in front of people, I cry. But anyway, I just want to say, guys, this is a special town. It's amazing. Like I said, I've lived my whole life here. let's do better because each one of you guys are special. So let's bring it in and lift this town up and get it back on track because this is sad and pathetic. Okay.
You could have fooled me. I thought that was great.
Thank you. I may have prayed to God a little bit. Well, you know, I used some wisdom up there.
Perfect. Anybody else? I do want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity. Yes, Kaylee?
Gotta get out of here. Sorry.
No trampoline.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee Tester. I'm an EMT here in Nokomis. Just to give people a different perspective from a first responder standpoint, there are places we will not go without cops. And we all know county is very busy. Sometimes it takes 20-30 minutes for them to get here. They're busy too. With our cops here, it's much easier for us to respond to overdoses, domestics that we have quite a bit of here. Without the cops, we're gonna have to wait for so long to get to the people we need the help. And it's just, it would be very unfortunate. I think we need to keep these cops here, like Lena said, maybe not 24/7 for right now, but definitely need them here. Like I said, there's places we will not go without them, and it's very, very helpful for them to be here. Sometimes we can't wait for county to get to people that need our help.
Thank you.
Woo!
I keep saying last call, and then there's always one more. So yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah,
stand up. I'm
Just your name is fine.
Lacey, and I live here in Nokomis. I just want you guys to take into consideration, like, everybody, I get their side of things. I mean, I firsthand know the amount of issues that have been brought to your guys' attention. And I'm not saying you did a bad job, but things could have been handled a lot differently. And I want you guys to take into perspective that at the end of the day, he supports our family.
Yeah.
He has little boys at home that look up to their dad and that look up to the police department. That what happens to him if you guys get rid of the police department?
Right.
Because, I mean, he responds to calls, but he's home to us.
Yeah.
So what gets done about that? He just loses the job that supports our family.
Yeah, as somebody who's experienced a family, you know, who's experienced job loss, that's an incredibly disorienting time period, and I do not take it lightly. What this has been put off with an attempt to try to fix the issues for as long as we have been able, or as long as we can, in order to prevent that situation. That is what we ultimately try to prevent. So it's not lost on me. I'm friends with every single one of these guys. Landon, Rachel, Dan, all of them. And this is incredibly difficult, and most of us are. In small towns, we're all friends, and half of us are probably family. But it comes a point where doing what is easy is different than doing what is right, and doing what is right is sometimes the hardest thing we have to do. And at this point, this council believes that doing what is right is to reset this police department and try to get it back on the right track.
I just want you guys to also take into consideration, you guys all see the badge, and I get it. There's people that are like, man, Landon did this. I'm not a part of his job, but he supports our children. He makes sure we have a good life, and he's a damn good officer too. Just putting that out there.
Thank you. What?
Am I allowed to add to my statement?
Briefly?
Briefly.
Sure.
So not only did my daughter suffer with mental health issues, and the police have checked on her multiple times, she also works in the public and gets checked on multiple times where she works. And it's not just that they actually took the time to talk to my daughter and figure out what was going on, rather than just doing an awful job of living like that. Like I said, if it wasn't for them, my daughter would be dead.
Can I add something, please?
Okay. Katie, you'll be the last one to add, because
We just really want to keep our police
I
force.
totally get it. I want to as well. Believe me,
Well-
you can ask the lady sitting right next to you. This has been the hardest year of
I
hardest
mean,
2
I
years of my life.
already talked to her.
Yeah, one of those is, personal issues, but this has been the second hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. I've been in public service for a long time, and I never dreamt that I would be sitting up here in front of you guys discussing this right now. But again, this is what we believe is the right course of action for what we have seen and experienced so far this year. But again,
Okay, thank you. I was just gonna say something else to add, guys, is like, as we go about our days, look how much we struggle. So think of the officers that actually go out and take on our troubles and our struggles. Like she just said, officers were checking on her daughter. They don't have to do that. They're doing that because they care. So we need to think on that level too, of they're taking on the whole community problems, where we just take on our family problems. They have the whole community, just like them up there sitting. They don't just have their families at home, they have the whole community to deal with. So that's just another food for thought. Be gracious, because show grace. Show, be sympathetic, be loving. Remember, the world is crueler. It just keeps getting cruel each day. So let's do better.
and I will say that, not everything you read on Facebook is necessarily true. And not everything you read on Facebook is always at face value. There are nuances to it. Information can be spun certain ways to make it look however people want to make it look. And so we hope that once all of this stuff has come to a close, that we can be able to disclose most of the information or all of the information that we've had to deal with. But right now we're unable to do that. So we ask for patience, we ask for trust that we are making these decisions with our children in mind just as much as your children. So
I support you guys' cause though.
That said, last call.
Are we allowed to amend?
I'm sorry?
Are we allowed to add to? I get a little nervous, so I got a little nervous, but
Go ahead.
I'm also a professional, so while we can show grace, if I showed up to work drunk or intoxicated or under the influence, I could kill somebody. I take care of people too. Just because that happened doesn't mean it's okay. It's not okay. Anybody else would have gotten in trouble. I'm not going to say what happened, but to say that everything on Facebook is a lie.
I didn't say it was a lie.
He didn't say that.
I know, but to say that everything didn't happen, we all know who were there, what happened, and to have a 4-year-old who's scared of a police officer because he's seen a gun be pulled, even though it wasn't a gun, it looks like a gun. I had to explain that to a 4-year-old. Do you have something I should say to him? He's 4. How do I explain that to my son?
I understand.
Please take it seriously. I think we should have a police force.
We're not here for that,
I'm a professional as
We're here
well.
to see if we're going to
And I
continue
really
on the
think
source.
it's necessary to put the right people in the position. Please hear me out, because we're watching.
Yes,
all of us.
That's the problem.
Thank you.
I need to resolve the problem.
So we're here not because of the issues at Casey's, right? We're here to
This is
decide if
all-
we want a police force in the future,
So
right?
we are here talking about what options we have to move forward. So I will just say that there's so much that I wish that I could tell you guys that has led to this point. But what I can say is that this council is unified in the determination that there are serious and significant integrity issues within the police department that we do not believe should be allowed to continue. It is widespread and it is throughout the entire organization.
So is there any way of fixing it? Is there a way of
That is what we're
rebooting
trying
it,
to do.
redoing
That's
it?
exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yep.
Cause you had me scared when you were talking about going to the sheriff's office and stuff like that, like.
Yeah, so just to make everything clear, we're not talking, our hope is that yes, we would be able to kind of restart, reboot in whatever capacity we could. Now there's lots of things that go into that, lots of red tape, factors. I mean, there's just a lot of things. So finding the right people, are the right people going to come back? Are we going to be able to hire the right people? Is the chief going to ever come to this place knowing the baggage that comes with it? Those are all things that we have to deal with, but right now, we don't have a chief, we don't have a way to operate this department with the structure that it needs by law. We have to have a chief, and we don't have one, and we don't anticipate being able to find one. So temporarily, we are looking at doing another option until we can put the pieces back together in order to have.
I'm good as long as we're working on the bigger picture, because
We're
this
totally
town
working on the bigger picture,
needs a
yes.
police force.
This is not just one incident, this is a year's worth of incidents, both public and internal. Serious issues, not joking
I
issues.
completely understand all that. I just want to make sure that we have a police force sometime in the future.
Yes, yes, this is not a discussion to disband the police department and never have another option ever. You know, this is, how do we get from point A to point B and in the best way possible that still provides the most police coverage for this city.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to do.
Thank you.
Okay. I haven't heard from anybody new in a little while, so I think we would be safe to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn. We will have another, the next regularly scheduled council meeting is on Monday, this Monday, the 13th at 7. We will potentially try to see if we can, if you know, I don't know how we would do that. If we need a bigger space, we will try to go to a bigger space if we are going to need it. But not always knowing how many people we're going to have, we don't know if we need to move that unless we know there's going to be a lot of people here. So if we need to find another venue, we will. If there's going to be a lot of people here, I don't know how best to determine that. Maybe call, I don't know. Call, say you'll be at the next meeting. We'll try to keep count, tally. If we have 100 people say they're going to show up, then we'll maybe move it to a bigger venue. Okay.
I mean, will this subject be on the next meeting? Will this subject be part of the next?
Yeah, so this subject will be part of the next meeting. Obviously, we still have other business that we're dealing with doing, but yes, this will be a major subject of the next meeting.
And if you heard Rachel, if you want to speak at the next meeting, if there's something that comes along over the weekend or over the week, whatever, call city clerk to be put on the agenda if you want to speak.
If we get,
I mean, we always do a hearing of visitors, you're always allowed to speak, but if you know you're coming and you know you have something to say, just give me a call and let me know so I can go in that space.
okay, I really do appreciate everybody coming. This is, anybody who attends, I don't know, is Al here? Did Al find us, is Al Hart here? Did he find a spot? He's out in the back. Al, we need to reserve your seat next time. He didn't get a seat because he's normally here, but we normally don't have this level of attendance. I hate that this is what draws people out. We wish we had more attendance in the regular business of the city, but I understand everybody's lives are busy and you know, you've got your other million things that are going on. So we do appreciate your time. Thank you guys for coming out, and we'll see some of you guys on Monday. So.
Can you do a recap of what is gonna, after today's meeting, with everything that's just happened, can you recap so everybody knows, are we going to disband for temporarily right now?
So I couldn't get a hold of our, with the sensitive nature of everything that's going on, I'm very careful to not put the city into a litigious situation. So I'm coordinating with our attorney on exactly what information we can release and what not. I have a informational release that I'm working on with him. He was unavailable to work on it with me this afternoon. I just got off a 48-hour shift at work, so I wasn't able to work on it there. But my goal is to have kind of a synopsis of kind of where we're at with everything, to be able to put out the press release so that everybody kind of does know where we're at, what we're trying to kind of do right now.
And if this was to take place, how soon will this go into effect? Are we talking like next week?
Probably.
Or like after the homecoming?
Yes, so, yes, so
At the homecoming?
for everybody that is concerned, yes, there will be Nokomis Police Department personnel at homecoming to deal with all that stuff. The meeting on the 13th will be kind of that moment, at least potentially, where we kind of make that determination of like, what is the immediate next step, and then from there, that will kind of determine what the next future looks like. So.
And hiring a new chief did not pass, correct?
That did not pass.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:37 p.m.
Thank you.
Roll call, Commissioner Moore? Yes. Lynn? Walker? O'Malley? Mayor Gordon?
Yes.
Ethical violation. I got here late, so I wasn't sure.
They didn't make a decision on it.
They didn't, to like disperse the police department.
No, that's something that would actually be at the next meeting.
I just want to make sure I didn't like miss anything.
No, you didn't
I
miss
showed
no.
up a little late, just to make sure.
I mean, the only thing that took the majority of the time was the public comments.